Well, hi everyone, this is Bill Breeden. Welcome to my Constellation Tour number 2, and we're going to talk about Ursa Major tonight, or otherwise known as the Great Bear. Now we are currently looking north under a suburban sky, so there's a little bit of light pollution. And this is set up for about 10:15 p.m. on June 27th. So Ursa Major is known mostly for the Big Dipper asterism. So let's find that in the sky. Let's look up a little higher. The Big Dipper is really high up in late June. And I'm sure you can see it. It's right here. Here's the Big Dipper. So let's have a look at the constellation itself. And let me talk a little bit about this area of the sky. The Big Dipper is circumpolar for most observers in the northern hemisphere. From here in Missouri, it gets pretty low on the northern horizon. It doesn't set, but it gets pretty low from our latitude here at 38 degrees. So there is a period of time in November in the evening that it's almost too low to really observe well, but you can still see it. But the rest of the year, it's plenty high up to enjoy. Now, all of the northern constellations rotate in a counterclockwise direction around this star right here. This is Polaris, okay, or the North Star. Now, in my last constellation tour, I didn't mention that the North Star is not the brightest star in the sky. A lot of people think that it is, but it's not. It is the 47th brightest star in the sky. It's famous for where it is in the sky, not how bright it is. The whole northern sky rotates around Polaris. It stays fixed in the same spot all year round. So that's what makes it special. Find the North Star and you are headed directly north. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Ursa Major. Okay. Now I've put the borders up for the constellations, and I'm gonna turn our attention a little bit toward the northwest, which is where Ursa Major is tonight. And you can see that it's a very large constellation. You see this outline here. And Ursa Major has a lot of deep sky objects. There's a lot to see in Ursa Major. Ursa Major is best viewed all year, with the exception maybe of November, when it's almost too low to observe very well. But technically it is observable all year long. It is circumpolar from our latitude. Okay, there are many bright stars in Ursa Major. As you can see, all 7 stars of the Big Dipper are really nice and bright. So let's put some labels up and get some star names. Okay. Here are the names of the 7 stars of the Big Dipper. You've got, from the handle, you've got Alkaid, Mizar, Alioth, Megrez, Phecta, Merak, and Dubi. And the one I want to concentrate on first is Mizar, okay? Okay, to find Mizar, you want to find the Big Dipper and look for the bend in the Big Dipper's handle. That is Mizar. It's a very famous double star because it is actually visible to the naked eye. Now I'm simulating a naked eye view here, so try if you can. If you've got this on a pretty big screen, and maybe even darken the room a little to make it more realistic, you can actually sort of see that Mizar, let's look a little higher up here, Mizar is a double star. So let's have a look through our finder scope. And you can clearly see that Mizar is a double star. And let's look through our eyepiece. Now through the eyepiece, you can clearly see that Mizar and Alcor, that's your double star there. And there are other stars in the field. It's a really nice area of the sky, but Mizar actually splits again. And if you use more power on it, you can see that Mizar actually splits again. This is one of the most beautiful objects in the night sky. And being in the Big Dipper's handle, it's easy to find, and it's up most if not all of the year. So this is always accessible to your telescope. So if you're doing outreach or you just want to show your friends and family something really neat, and you're intimidated by finding things in the sky, Mizar is very, very doable and very within reach. Let's do that again. Okay, here's your naked eye view of the northwestern sky here in June. Just look and find the Big Dipper and observe this star right here. Okay. Even through binoculars or a finder scope, it's pretty impressive. Okay. Now I told you earlier there was a lot to see in Ursa Major, so let's start doing some real observing here. My favorite time of the night is to take you to a dark sky site, so let's do that. Let's make it dark. And now we have a gloriously dark night sky, and you can clearly see the stars of the Big Dipper, but you can also see that Ursa Major has a whole lot of other stars within its boundaries. So let's look for another double star besides Mizar and Alcor. Let's look for Xi Ursa Majoris. Now some of these on my list may not be in this software, but it's worth a shot. Okay, Xi Ursa Majoris is listed here in the software as a variable star. So let's see if it splits as a double star. You know, I just realized that's why I like doing these classes. It's actually on my list here as a variable star rather than a double star, so we're not going to split this. So we're going to put an eyepiece in, and we are looking at a variable star, so it varies between magnitude 3.75, which is what it's listed here, and approximately 5. So it will brighten and dim as time goes by. So that explains why when I pointed my scope at it, I couldn't split it. It's not a double star. Okay. Now this next object is a double star, M40, which is on the Messier list of deep sky objects. It's the 40th object in the catalog, so let's have a look at M40. M40 looks like it's really close to the corner star of the bowl. Let's have a look at it through our finder scope. And you can just see it's a really faint smudge at this magnification. But with a 6-degree field of view, which is your finder scope, you can just see a little tiny double star there. That's M40. Let's throw it in an eyepiece. And now you can clearly see that it's a double star. Now this is simulating a 26 millimeter eyepiece, in an 8-inch f10 Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope. M40 is magnitude 9.6, so even though that's really, really faint, you might be able to see it from the suburbs because double stars actually stand out a little more than some other types of deep sky objects. Okay, let's go back out to our glorious naked eye view of the sky, and let's look for some other objects in Messier's catalog. M81 and M82 are probably the most famous objects on Messier's list that are near the Big Dipper. So let's have a look at those. They're right next to each other in the sky. So we'll just search for M81. And M81 is a galaxy 11 million light years away. So here it is. It's just, now the trick to finding M81 and M82 is to find the Big Dipper and look at the bowl and draw a line diagonally through the bowl here, through these two stars, and keep going about the same distance. And point your finder scope at it. And if you're lucky, now I missed a little bit, but you will get both of these galaxies at least within your finder field, and they'll look like two smudges real close to each other. And then of course you want to enjoy a view through the eyepiece. That is M81. It's a beautiful barred spiral galaxy, or I'm sorry, a beautiful grand design spiral galaxy. And let's have a look at its companion here, M82. And there you go. M82 is sort of an irregular galaxy. It's listed here at 12 million light years away. So if you have a wide enough field of view, if you have an eyepiece with a wider field of view, you can get both galaxies in the same field. Let me try to simulate that here. Now this is a field of view of just over 1 degree. So if you have an eyepiece that gives you that field of view, you can get both of these galaxies in the same field in your eyepiece. And it is really, really fun to see two galaxies at the same time. Okay, let's return to our naked eye view of the sky. And let's search for another Messier object within Ursa Major's boundaries. And that would be M101. I really like taking you for a tour of the night sky. And the software I'm using is Stellarium version 0.20.1, and it does work with Windows 10. So I encourage you, if you can't get outside under the real sky, to do some stargazing this way. And here you go. Here is a wide angle view of M101, the Pinwheel Galaxy. It is an 8th magnitude galaxy that lies 20 million light years from Earth. M101 is difficult because it's got a very low surface brightness. It's listed here with a surface brightness of about 15th magnitude, which is probably right. It's really hard to see from the suburbs. Even from out in the country, it can be a challenge. You really need a 14-inch telescope or more to get a good view of it. Okay, I have another Messier object within the boundaries of Ursa Major, and that is M97. M97 is the Owl Nebula, and that can be found within the bowl of the Big Dipper, just along the bottom part of it. And even through the finder scope, with about a 6-degree field of view, you can see a faint, what looks like sort of like the planet Neptune, because it's perfectly round. The Owl Nebula M97 is a planetary nebula, and they're called planetary nebulas because they're shaped like planets, not because they have anything to do with planets. So let's look at it through the eyepiece. It's 10th magnitude, and it lies about 2,000 light years from Earth. This is a dying star casting off its outer layers of gas and dust. So when you're looking at a planetary nebula, you're looking at a star at the end of its life cycle. One more Messier object that I want to show you within Ursa Major's boundaries, and that is M108. It's a galaxy. And it looks like it's really close to M97. It's in the same area. I think I saw it earlier when we were looking at M97. Yeah, I did. You can see M97 is right here. So M108 is right here, just a little bit to the right this time of year of M97. So let's look at it through the eyepiece. And you can see this is a 10th magnitude, almost edge-on galaxy, located 45 million light years from Earth. So let's have another look at Ursa Major here. And again, this is the area of the sky we've concentrated on tonight. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of Ursa Major, and good night and good seeing.